Me? I won't mind it. I won't mind it this weekend. It felt like the Bay Area for a couple of days around here.
That was nice. Yeah, it was.
We haven't talked to you this camp, so can you kind of look back over how training camp went for your group, offense-wise, I guess?
I think that we're ahead of where we were last year, no question. We're healthier, obviously, so there's more guys getting more consistent reps. And up front, we're still trying to find the right combination at right guard, but the other 4 guys have been coming along really well. I think that our backs have a chance to be a really good group. Receiver-wise, everybody has high expectations for Rat, and he hasn't disappointed this camp. De'Ami Brown is an really impressive freshman. And, we know when Toad, Daz, and Jackson are out there, they can do some really good things. And then at tight end, Carl's been really steady like he has been. And Vargas has improved. And so has Lawson and Turner. So, and then Nate has been a consistent guy. And our young quarterbacks have really come along. And, for that matter, Chaz probably had his best camp he's had since he's been here.
It's rare to see a true freshman play a lot on the offensive line. But is William Barnes, has he adapted well enough to be able to play some?
He's going to be able to play. There's no doubt. There's still freshman moments, like you expect, but physically he can do it. There's no question. You can't overwhelm him. We need to keep things, maybe smaller for him at times until he just starts getting that experience and feel more confident. But he has all the tools, and he's going to have a chance to play. Sometimes
early experience can backfire on a young kid, but in William's case, does he strike you as the kind of kid he gets out there, makes a few mistakes? That's maybe the best thing for him is to move past that early stage point?
Well, as painful as it is, you learn more from your mistakes, right? So, he has a bad, whatever it is, technique, assignment. We can correct it on the field, correct it in the film room, and then the plan is you don't make that mistake again. So you'd rather see it out here than on a Saturday. And he's a tough kid. He's mentally tough, and he comes from a really good program, so he bounces back pretty well.
Nick Polino said about a week and a half ago that the offensive line has more chemistry than it had last year. And he thinks because of that, the communication up front is going to be a lot better, so there won't be as many breakdowns. Have you seen that in practice? Is that your expectation?
Well, there's no question, consistency is critical to the communication, right? You look back last year, you had Cam just joined us, Khalil didn't practice all training camp, then we had all the guys in and out with injuries. And this year, I think we have really the 4 guys at the tackles, the left guard and center have been pretty solid, been there every day, so there's no question communication is better. And again, the more they're together, the better the chemistry is.
How has Nathan improved from the first day of camp to today?
Nathan Elliott?
Yes.
He's always been so consistent, and I think just trying to have confidence in his receivers and his skill guys, and really just getting that timing down, right? The more he can practice with those guys, the more he trusts what they're going to do, and you can see that happening. And just making quick decisions. You've seen that kind of improve as we've gone throughout camp. So he's been so steady for so long. I don't think there's been this huge jump, but I do think that the chemistry with the guys around him has gotten better.
Was he a little surprising to the staff with how he played against Miami and some of those late games in terms of the poise, that kind of stuff?
Maybe a little bit. We've always felt like Nate was, he knew what he was doing. I think the thing that stood out the most is how the team rallied behind him. I mean, you could just see that there was a high respect for him, and the kids really wanted to perform well for him, and they wanted to be protective of him. You saw one play on the bench in Miami where he got kind of pushed late, and they swarmed over there. There's a high care factor for him, and that's him earning that throughout the year and everything he does. So I think those are the things that really stood out.
I assume that's carried over throughout the offseason.
No question. No question.
A lot of the speed you guys have on the edge, young guys, De'Ami and Antoine examples, but how big is it for this offense to have guys that can take the top off of a defense right now? You have multiple ones.
It's huge. And it's big for any offense, right? But we've all seen when we had a Matt Collins and that secondary had to be scared of us going over the top. You play a whole different. You just watch film from last year, and as we go through and watch the cut-ups early in the spring, they weren't threatened. So everything was like cover zero. I mean, everybody was around the box. They were like, well, challenge us. They just didn't think we would do it. And so that's something now we're able to do. And so that helps a lot.
How much more adept is Nathan at making those throws now, too?
Oh, I think he's fine. He does a good job. He makes good decisions, and not throwing in harm's way. And a lot of that's trust. You know, a lot of times those deep balls are 50-50 balls. And you got to trust that receiver's going to make the play, or at the very least, not let that defender make the play.
What stands out to you about Cal's defense and what Will Fox seems to do?
You know, they play really hard. You know, that's the one thing you saw consistently throughout the years. They play hard. They play every snap. And when they're the most productive is when they're creating turnovers. You know, I can't remember the stat off the top of my head, but it's something when they created 2 or more turnovers, you know, they held teams to under 25 points, and I think they were like 4-2, and then with less than 2, they're like 1-6. So they thrive off of that. And so those are the things you can see. They're well coached, they understand their scheme, and they just play hard as a unit.
Can you talk specifically